Hello, I'm Brett Knowles from PM2 Consulting. This is a quick overview of how we developed the Bow Valley strategy map based on the current strategic documents and thinking from the senior leadership team and a cross-functional working team. By way of executive summary, we took advantage of the several planning sessions that have occurred over the last years, and in particular, the strategic plan that was put forward and approved on April 26. And we used this to build a strategy map. And in this video, we'll explain where this strategy map comes from and how we might use it. So the strategy plan that was approved in April has a number of important components. It describes the vision for the school. It describes the mission. It includes clear statements of what our values and culture will be. And then lastly, who are the constituents that the college has to fulfill. So we're going to start off with the vision. And in particular, we'll take the vision statement and just put that at the top because overall, that's what we're aiming for. We open doors and open minds by creating opportunities for learners, employees, employers, and communities, and by shaping the future of college education. Now, we're going to follow the best practice of the balanced scorecard and describe our strategy in 4 perspectives. Overall, our goal is to achieve stakeholder satisfaction. To do that, we need to develop the right internal processes. To build and maintain those processes, we need the right enablers, culture, competencies, enabling structures, strategic assets, and then underpinning all of that, of course, are our budgets. Now, if we go back to our strategy, it describes who the constituents are. And so we'll put this across the top to remind us of who it is we need to meet. Now, the mission statement has a number of important statements about including all learners, challenge our thinking, and so on. So this mission statement to include all learners we'll put up here as a stakeholder expectation because that's what learners and in fact employers probably want. And we've numbered it S1 to stand for Stakeholder First Objective. It talks about challenging our thinking. Well, that's something that we need to do internally, so we'll put that in the internal perspective. To remove barriers, again, those are internal activities that we need to do at the college. Provide opportunity is another internal activity. And then finally, to make all learning count. Now, the values, respect, inclusion, creativity, teamwork, and resilience, are all elements of what we call enablers. So we'll just put those in the base of enablers for now. Now, up the top here, we open doors and open minds. And so we see that to be an enabler that underpins everything else that we do. It also describes the future of college education, and so we'll put that down as an enabler as well. Now, there's a few other things that show up in other documents. Things like meet employers' needs and be part of our communities. It also talks about how we're going to invest in our people by way of training, development, promotion opportunities, etc. And then it describes 2 important aspects of our budget. One is we need to be great financial stewards of the money we're granted. And then secondly, we need to build financial partnerships. So these are the objectives that we harvested from those strategy documents. But it's important to note that those documents were produced for a different reason than what we're trying to do here. And so this story might be a bit complicated. So we worked with a leadership team to see about simplifying this story so that it would be easier for us all to remember it and be able to tell our friends and associates. So we began looking at important objectives and where there's sort of an overlap. So for example, we decided this stays, make all learning count. We decided that we liked include all learners, but in fact, that becomes part of remove barriers. And so we're going to put that down here. We decided that we liked challenge our thinking, and we've left that in place. We've replaced provide opportunity with excellence in educational experience. We left employment success in there. We modified be part of our communities to transformational learning. Now, down in the enabler section, we decided that we would rephrase this to be a learner-focused culture, which includes the objective that was there, as well as all the values. Because, of course, if we live these values, that becomes our culture. So those all end up being attributes of E2. And then for the remaining ones, we decided to keep all of them. So this is a simplified version that tells us the same strategic objectives, merely consolidate some of them together in order to simplify the story. Now, what we also decided that we needed to describe is the cause and effect relationship between these things. So, for example, if we are able to achieve this objective of excellent in educational experience, that will underpin our ability to contribute to social success. It will support our employment success, and finally, underpin transformational learning. So excellence in education experience becomes an important aspect. Now, the way that we can read this is, if we're striving towards excellence in educational experience, that work needs to achieve one of three objectives. Excellence means either we're helping achieve social success, or we're helping achieve employment success, or we're enabling transformational learning. And if we're doing something under the guise of excellence that doesn't achieve these objectives, then by definition, that's a waste and we shouldn't be doing it. Now, to get excellence in educational experience, there's three things we need to do. We need to challenge our thinking, we need to include all learners, and we need to make all learning count. So this becomes a powerful engine that allows us to achieve success. These five objectives down here in the enablers and financial kind of underpin all of the above. So we'll just put one big arrow that says those support everything. In other words, as we invest in our people, as we train them, develop them, give them promotional opportunities, that will allow them to challenge our thinking. It'll allow them to include all learners. It will allow them to make all learning count. It will allow them to get excellence and so forth. So they support everything. So that's our strategy map. Now, we expect this will evolve over time as we use it and we learn from it, but it's a good starting point based on our strategic thinking. And this one-page summary of strategy is useful for communication purposes. But it's important to note that these objectives are not all equally important. Now, in fact, this constitutes 100% of our strategy, and so we could allocate 100% across these objectives. And over time, that weighting will shift. So, for example, when you first begin rebuilding a college, the highest weighting is down on enablers. And then it gradually shifts up to internal processes, and then eventually gets up to stakeholders. But that weighting shifts over time as we take on initiatives and new challenges happen, both political, social, and economic. So the leadership considered the current weighting, and by current, we decided for the next 6 months, since there's a number of uncertain issues about to occur, and we came up with the following proposal. So this is the allocation of 100%, and our basic thinking is any weighting over 10% means it's an important theme for this period. So currently, our theme is all about achieving excellence in education. And we're going to do that through challenging our thinking and making all learning count. And this will be strongly underpinned by investing in our people and shaping the future of college education. So this is the strategy map for now. We'll continue to use it, and once a quarter we'll take a look at it and refresh the objectives and the weightings to reflect our current thinking. I hope this has been useful to you. As a quick reminder, what we've done is we've taken the existing strategy and we've used that to create a strategy map. Now, this strategy map will be used both for communication purposes, but also to create a dashboard or scorecard through which we can measure the success of the college. And we'll describe that in future videos.